geluba naqdogliyo nugal waa ku darara melay nabadi joogta.
Welcome to ISIRKA. My name is Amina Isir, and join me as I take you on a journey to explore identity, culture, and belonging. Take a seat as I take you through time, space, and various perspectives of cultural identity. Stay tuned to see where the journey will take us today. Hello, welcome to another episode of ISIRKA, the last episode of 2021. This has been a long year. Alhamdulillah, we've made it to the end. But I've really enjoyed kind of producing this podcast. And one of my goals for this year was to try to, maybe become a DJ. And so I put together a few music mixes, but I didn't go too much further with that. But in this week's episode, I'm really glad to welcome DJ Amal, female DJ who's based in Toronto, Canada. And we kind of talked a little bit about Somali music, about the importance of it, and about her journey. So enjoy this episode and stay tuned for what ISIRKA has coming up in the next year. Welcome, DJ Amal. So nice to have you today on ISIRKA.
Thank you, Baivan. My name is DJ Amal. I'm a female DJ that lives in Toronto. I'm very pleasured to be on a podcast like this.
All right, cool. It's a pleasure on our end to have you as well. So tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, like kind of what made you want to get into this.
So I have been DJing for about 5 years. I grew up in a small town it's a small city. Ottawa, Ontario. I'm from Ottawa, but I live in Toronto. And I got into this because a friend of mine had just asked me for a favor that day to do a thing. There was a huge demand for like a female to DJ. Like she needed a woman because she was having an all-female wedding. And I had just gone in there just to help her with the wedding. She was a very close friend of mine. And a lot of us were involved in it. So I was in charge of the music. So my friends were involved in the whole wedding planning, in the whole, there's a lot of things now. Things have changed 5 to 6 years ago compared to now.
Yeah.
She was just like, you deal with the music. So I just said, okay, I just thought it was going to be a pressing play and so. But then she gave me a list of songs, Somali songs. And I had a small background of Somali music. Like I used to listen to old school songs, but I wasn't that into it. Finally, I did that wedding. I saw the reaction, and I saw the reaction of like the older generations and how they reacted, and then the younger generations having their own music, and then I realized there was a niche in this, right? It was me and a friend of mine. So when me and my friend did it, I asked her, "Would you like to do this like as a profession? Get into it like more often, We noticed that there's a lot of like men that take over this market. So we're just like, what would you like to? She was just like, Amal, I don't have the patience that you do, Just like, let you do it and get through it. And yeah, I started with that one wedding. I remember my first client, I think I got paid only like $200. Even before I got to her wedding, I think I did 5 weddings before I even got to her because word travels. Once they find out, oh, you know what, there's a female DJ, everybody, like the word of mouth was just such a powerful thing for me. So I just did that one wedding, and then after that next came another, and then another, and then I had to learn. So I took a course about DJing and finally got myself a mixer, and it went viral. Like it went from there. I moved to Toronto about 2 years ago. I decided to go to Toronto for like a bigger market, like a bigger population in terms of Somalis and stuff like that. So Toronto, obviously Ottawa has a good share of Somalis that live there, but Toronto is a huge population. And when I was in Toronto, I got a lot more business. Business has been good. The wedding business has been great. I got connected with more Fenens. The Fenens are also there as well, Somali singers. And from there, I went to Europe, to London, to the States, and to Toronto. And this is what I do, and I love what I do.
So what was the difference between like Ottawa and Toronto? Like Ottawa, like there's still like I think Deqa Ahmed lives there, and it is like a more quieter city than Toronto, obviously. But you know, how important was it for you to kind of build up like your base and your reputation there before then going on to like the big city?
Ottawa, it is a smaller city. Deq Ahmed is still there. As a matter of fact, we have one. When I first started, like when I was just getting up,
Mm-hmm.
Deq and I did a wedding together. And
Mm-hmm.
she was even more proud of the fact that I even became a DJ because she was so shocked. I guess, Deqa Ahmed, she's one of those finance that are back in the days, the big ones,
Yeah, yeah.
So when she saw me, she was just like wowed, because she's like, I've never worked with a female, she's like, I've
Yeah.
always had men back in the days dealing
Mm-hmm.
with situations like this. So, but then back in the days as well in Ottawa, Awale was there. Awale was the majority of the time doing the music.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of DJs that were also there as well. We've had our moments. Like Ottawa was pretty back in the days when it comes to Somali music and Somali riwayats and stuff like that. We've had our share of moments in Ottawa and in Toronto. But
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the comparisons, I feel like Ottawa has a lot more Djiboutians,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. There's not a lot more Somali peoples, and then everyone has moved out of Ottawa, moved and kind of migrated to Toronto and
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton
Yeah,
and,
Alberta.
and Vancouver and Alberta and that around that area. So I feel like Somalis are now like migrated to that end. But at the end of the day, it holds a huge population regardless. I go back to Ottawa from time to time. I just came back from Ottawa for a wedding. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I do go back and forth from time to time from Toronto to Ottawa. So it's nice to get that call. But when I first started in Ottawa, it was a struggle, like I remember, I think because of the fact that I was a female and I was
Mm-hmm.
doing this, there was a lot of stigma. There was a lot of people that was telling me, oh, you shouldn't do this because you're a female. Or ladies would look at me and say, oh, man has some interest, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like مفعنة or something like that. So I'll be like, okay, listen, guys, I had to push through it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
literally had to push through all that talk, some hate, and now I feel like I've gained Otto's respect. Like I'm one of those people that if I do something and I push my mind to something, I'm a hard worker. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna let anything stop it, get in the way of me getting where I need to go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah.
No, that's cool. So basically, when the aunties are telling you, "Oh, you shouldn't do this," that's because usually there's a lot of stigma and negativity kind of attached with funka. And how important is, like now that you're like growing, like now that you're getting older as well, and like growing more up into adulthood, how important is, Somali music and culture kind of like a part of your life?
Honestly, Somali music, as I was younger, I wasn't as involved. Like when I was younger, I was listening to my old school hip hop, R&B.
Yeah,
You
girl.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
listening to that. But now that Somali music has become more globalized, and then you just have like, I felt like there was a missing part of my identity missing.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to when I was younger, like I was raised in a household of like I'm Somali, my parents are Somali, my household was Somali, but our environments were not. I was raised around a lot of it, but it was a misconception of culture between us. Like I was raised with so many different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's so nice to have a sense of pride for your own.
Yeah.
Like I remember as a kid, my aunties taking me to these riwayats, and I remember saying to myself, "This is so boring.
Yeah. Like, get us out of here.
Get me out of here." And then now, as I get older, I'm just like, there's just such a beauty of our culture in this music that we've missed for such a long time. Like I'm telling you, now there's songs like ISIRKA, that's gone global, but that's our words, that's our music that did that to everyone. And when you see like the beauty of like the qaban and the old school music and the old school singers and how parties were back in the days. As I get older now, I don't know, I don't even listen to English music. I do
I
like
don't either.
I have my R&B moments. I have like I love my R&B and I love my hip hop. Back in the days, like music hasn't been the same when it comes to back in the days, like generalized
Yeah.
music. And to now it's just so different. But I listen to Somali music more now.
Yeah, me too. I think that that's a really good point. Like even Afrobeat has become really popular in the past couple of years. And now like out of South Africa, they have that piano music. So I think like and like house music and things like that, like music is also becoming more global. Like I think English dominated music isn't hitting as strong or doesn't have like the hold over the market the way that it used to. And now, you know, there's finally a space for like other countries to kind of share their music and their sounds with us.
Yeah, exactly. Like even Afro beats. How long has it taken African music to even just advance? I don't think people were listening to African music 20 years ago.
Absolutely not.
Caribbean, but everybody loves it. And Somali has just this, once you listen to some, it's the words sometimes, it's the beat, it's like it's just gets to you. The meanings, it's poet, you know, there's poetry, there's like, and there's so much that takes into place of Somali music. There's lyrics, there's melodies, there's, you know, there's lahan, ariyadi, there's artists, there's people that are behind the scenes, like abwans that are writing these types of music. And these are like live poets that are sitting down and that whatever comes to their mind, and they just like, you know, give it to a singer and then they make it live. So there's so much, it's an amazing process.
Yeah, I can feel it, like in terms of the fact that like I think, you know, whatever is coming out the past 10 years, like it, you know, it's dope. And but like a lot of the older songs, people like if our parents like were listening to it when they were our age and now we're listening to it at our age, like, you know, that's kind of, it's timeless in that way. And it's still, I think it's crazy that it still like could resonate with us, even though we're growing up in completely different contexts, different countries, different language, different backgrounds, but we can still, you know, gain something from that or like still resonate with something from it.
Exactly. It definitely.
What are a couple of the songs that you listen to, or like what are your kind of your top favorites?
My top 5. You know, I was thinking about that all day.
I know, that's why I made sure to tell you earlier so that like, you know, you can have some time to think about it.
Yeah, I listen to so many music, but when it comes to Somali songs, I was trying to think of older and then older and then yeah, like current as well. My top 5. Number 1 is Qurah di Arati by
Qurah.
That is one of like my all-top number 1. I think there's so many people that sang Farah Captain Fortune Barimo from Iman Fad Muqas. Like there's so many people that they sang that. So that's my ultimate. Sultan Sarad Qalbi Nouri.
Oh my God. Like
that, and like that song is completely beautiful.
The way he sang it even sounds completely different than his other songs, in my opinion.
Safwan Halaq and Ayana. Igaho, that one's a good one. Even Safwan Halaq, Hablaha. I love that song. Mid Quran anigu ka hela hablaha mid Quran u helanaho anan qurux baan u hawlgalayo hablaha mid Quran murtida ku haba mid Quran murtida ku haba. And what would I say? I'm a big fan of Kin. Like I love her sense of style. I love Kin in terms of her music as well.
She's definitely adding like a new look to what the Somali female artist is in this day and age.
And she's really high feminist. Like I feel like all her songs are about, you know, she's very feminine.
Yeah, like don't come here on some BS. Like even like yeah. She had the Bantu knots when she was in Africa, and then she had like the big, I think like her sense of style is really like, you know, she'll still always like have her hair out and her hair doing different things and you know, looking different kinds of ways. And so I think it's a cool way to see somebody like obviously who's still in between both worlds and embracing both.
Yes. Another great singer, Abdulkader Juba.
He's my favorite, my childhood favorite.
Has to Overhill. It has my name in it, so I love it. I'm a big fan of Hamarawi music, Radhama music.
That's what's up.
You know that song? Awe.
Yeah, Fatima Qasim Hilole.
And Fatima Qasim as well. Wanka hela biniya.
Her daughter sang that at the Somali Museum of Minnesota. They had an event. Her daughter, what the Karama.
Karama. I love that version too.
Yeah.
But she's incredible too. And Hassan Al Samit, a lot of his songs as well, they really hit you.
Yeah. Whether it's hype or whether it's like a Karami song, like it still was like, I mean, he just had consistent bangers. So he definitely has like such a long discography, like a long.
What I listen to and like what people like literally hear all the time is different. Like when I put on music for people, they mostly like Sultan Sirar. Hassan Al older ladies, if you ever want to play music with them, you play Hassan Al Samatar, Abdulqadir Jubba, old school tracks. Nimaya Yasin. I love Dabta Aliyara. I love that song. That's another one. Nimaya Yasin. There's so many old school. Fatima Qasim, Mughal, like these ladies, they as soon as they hear these songs, they just think back in their days,
Yeah. No, I can see that you see the Shalman's flying. And I'm just like, but I gotta give it to them because they're consistently hype, all the time. So
true, they're very hype. Djiboutians, they love their Sayle'is, they like to down. The South, they love their Danto. Nico, all of this.
So when you're like playing music, like at a wedding or something, for example, so obviously there's a multi-generational aspect now, you have like the kids that are probably born and raised in Canada, and they have to play like the mandatory Somali songs. I went to this one wedding years ago. I think it actually might've been in Toronto, but usually now wedding, it's like, you have to play the Somali songs and then you play the English songs, and then the aunties will go sit down when the English songs come on, but then they'll come back up when the Somali songs come on. But what are like some songs that both generations like really seem to enjoy and that kind of still like, clicks for both?
African women, Sultan Sarar. Isi Nafta. If they hear that song, everyone stays, it doesn't matter. Neen Ma'an. Harir Ahmed.
Yeah.
You hear that song, they'll just like, I think young and old just listen to it and they love it. So they just all stay.
Lin Ma'an really took over when it came out. Sorry to cut you off.
I think it's the song of the year. That one is the song of 2021 for sure. Because but nowadays, you remember how you said, when they hear English, they sit or old. No, I don't think so. Because now the older ladies are kind of recognizing the younger generations. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They know that they needed a time. There was a time when they didn't really care.
Yeah.
But now I feel like they understand that if they have their moment, they would like to give the younger kids their moment to enjoy themselves, Yeah. And sometimes they listen to Arabic and they'll stay as well. I play also Arabic for them. I play Ethiopian, I play Eritrean, Amharic, so many. And they'll stay. I mean, I feel like now with the whole COVID situation, people have taken this for granted. So now that people go to a wedding, they will go to enjoy because we haven't had it for such a long time.
Yeah, that's so true.
I don't care.
That's cool though. So like, I mean, do you play like non-Somali related events, or are you trying to like, you're trying to like still kind of stick within like the Somali like community?
It's never good to limit myself. I love Somalis. Somalis is my people. I'm Somali. And I feel like that's always going to be there. But the reason why I became a DJ is because of the woman market right there. Mm-hmm. Like the other day, I was talking to a woman in Columbus, actually. And she was telling me, like, she was so disappointed. She was just like, I've been looking for a female DJ for 3 months. And then I now. She's like, I have an Arab wedding. Like, like I would love to have you because I feel like, because she's Somali and then myself. And she was just like, I don't even know how this is going to work. But she's like, I had to ask someone to do something that they're not even comfortable with, Mm-hmm. So I'm out of their way to just stay on a laptop and just play the songs because she's like, I couldn't find someone professional.
Oh, wow.
But in terms of that community, I've done Jordan, I've done Palestine, I have done Moroccan, I have done Algerian, and Arabic weddings are different too. Yemeni, I've done Yemeni Somali.
Okay.
The Arabic weddings are totally different. The men have a section and then the women have a section.
Oh, okay.
they have their parties at the same time, but in different rooms.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Next time, I just thought of something. Next time, I'm just gonna have a microphone that plays from both ends.
Yeah, like, or like even just speakers that kind of are like playing out into both.
Last time I had 2 speakers, but I had to get somebody to control it because the men don't party as hard as the females in the Arabic side.
Mm-hmm.
But once they get up, and I can. But then I think like when I actually DJ, I can read the room, right? As soon as I read the room, I kind of know what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
And then I kind of see it. So every time that person doesn't, I try so hard to get that person to move, the person that's sitting that doesn't want to dance. So hard. And then I'll just, boom, get there.
So you're not like the DJ, like it's been a while since I've been to a Somali event, but I always like, it always when it's like really, really pumping, then they'll be like, Scafarista, don't worry. And it's like, why would you stop when everybody's like really excited? Like, and then it's like some weird way of like always like controlling the room. Like, I don't really understand why they do that. But what was like the worst type of experience that you've had?
Like, I don't like disorganization. So if there's any disorganization, that is a problem.
Are you finding commonly now that people are organized about things, or it's like 50-50?
We have our moments. There's moments where the brides they'll have a wedding planner, or they'll have, everything organized for me, ready to go. And then there are moments where, sometimes it's unpredictable. We don't expect what's about to happen at that moment, right? So I love all my brides because they really want to, but then they're also stressed too because having a wedding and it's getting so many people's opinions and everything. And especially if the bride doesn't want the wedding and the family wants the wedding, you really don't have a say if a lot of this control goes to your family or whoever it is that wants that wedding. But I feel like when the bride takes control, then, I feel like people will tend to respect you. Also, the burambur is a big play.
Do you like do music, or like, are you participating in any part of that?
But the only thing I do for them is I deal with the microphones for them. And then once I set them up, I let them do their thing. I mean, honestly, Baramba for me is the best time. Mm-hmm. It's time for me to take a refresher. It takes the time off of me where I can just leave, use the bathroom, come back. Because sometimes I'm by myself, so I don't get a chance to do those things, right? Mm. But a lot of people don't like Baramba. But some ladies, they want to say their khabir like no tomorrow.
Oh, rep with their whole chest. And then but the thing is, like, it kind of just goes on a little bit too long sometimes. And you're like, okay, we're still going. Like, we're still going. But I think that's their moment to shine, right? Like, so that's the one space we'll have for that, I guess. So.
Yeah, but sometimes they love this. They play this outside. They'll play this in their house, so they go from the house to, like, I remember when I had worked with Farah Kaftan. Mm-hmm. Farah Kaftan came from London for Toronto this year. Mm-hmm. And I remember when she came, they did Baramba at the house and they did Baramba wherever she went. And then when she came to us, they also did Baramba. And then we had another party, they did Baramba. It doesn't stop.
Yeah. But I think that they really enjoy it though. Like, I think that's why, like, it's like their one space to get together. If they're not the ladies that are gonna like come to the party, I think it's just kind of, it's the one hit that works for them, right? Like, so they're like, we're gonna rinse this.
That's their time. But Baramba is such a cultural thing. It's such a beautiful thing, Yeah. I've had a situation where a Baramba lady broke the cake.
Wow. How?
I think it was just the way the setup was set up on the stage and the place where it was placed. It was wrong. And then the venue put the cake on a really bad table too, right?
Wow.
So it just fell.
But then she kept drumming, didn't she? She was like, da, 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 da.
And how the Baramba lady comes up to them, and the next wedding, she was like, nobody touch the cake now. Hi, Diamond. Come in. No.
Oh man.
Yeah, like paranoia. It's so cute.
Yeah, because she can't start having cut into her business after a while.
She's like, last time cake wajibin. I said, okay, no problem.
God, that must have been like, so how, that must have been a lot, like, for them to have to deal with in the moment. Like, there's just no cake.
Yeah, it was, I mean, they had the cake, they still used it anyways, but they fixed it up with the flowers.
Okay.
That was funny.
Oh,
ladies are just jumping on cakes now.
The party is that hot. So you mentioned one artist, but like, who are some of the artists that like you've really enjoyed working with, and ones that you would like to continue working with? And then when they see you, you mentioned like the Ahmed earlier, but how do they kind of respond to seeing you like a younger, you're adult, but I feel like if you look a little bit, if you're younger than them, they're gonna call you Hubba or something, or like if seeing like a younger, like a Canadian raised woman, like kind of being in this space, how are they responding to you?
So I've worked with so many, Barimo, Isklaji, Bokal. I feel like now, as where I've gotten, like how far I've come, I feel like I've gained their respect,
Mm-hmm.
Before it was just like, they're just shocked. There's like a female DJ, Fatun Barimo was very nice. She's like one of those people that has always like had a lot of trust for me in terms of like the music and so. She was just like that person that, comes in, she was just like, I really want a female to help me with my things, help me with everything. So we have a very good community. We have a very good relationship, which I'm really grateful for. Diak Ahmed as well, Bukal, Iskalaji, the finance in Toronto, majority of them. But in terms of like favorite singers and wise, I'm a big fan of Harir, fan of Sultan Tarar. I think that guy is extremely talented.
Mm-hmm.
He went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
Then he went from 0 to 100 real quick. I remember him when he was like singing in Badio.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing his songs back in the days, and now look at him. I feel like, and he can do more. I think he has a long way to go. Like if he wants to maintain, like the one thing I feel like singers need to know, like what they need to do is they need to maintain. Like there has to be some sort of consistency in music. That's why Iskalaji, I have tremendous respect for him because he is very consistent. The guy is not even here. He's in Garo. He's in Djibouti, and of course he's still releasing songs.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So that's something that Sudan needs to do. Nim'an Hala. I would like Nim'an right now. He's in American.
He's been grinding though since he came to America. He's like every couple of months there's a new song, which is like a lot more than we've seen of him. Like while he was in Mogadishu, especially.
Haldan Abdurrahman as well. She's becoming more consistent. Her song, the wedding song, took over Storm.
Oh yeah. That was. I like it. She did an earlier wedding song for Farhia Kabiana's wedding that I really like. Like it's just, but yeah, this song has definitely taken over this year.
The song started off as a wrong. I don't know. It wasn't meant for her. I think it was meant for somebody else.
Yeah, there's a lot of drama around it.
Just kind of went to her, and she did it beautifully. So, Khaldan Abdurrahman, Dalma Yare is also a really great person I met. Hiba Noura, I met a very old legend.
Yeah.
When I was in London, I met so many finance. I met Moye, Lucky Haji, so many. For Vadamina, one of the most funniest ladies ever. You love her. So many. I can't even count. There's so much that's happened this year, I met incredible DJs too. Some DJ Ice, Naeem Cash, Antonio. So many different people. Farhan, there's just so many Himala Studios. There's so many individual Dad Omar. There's so many people that I met that I that was like extremely like there's just so many.
Yeah.
And even there's people that I didn't get a chance to see, like Nim'a Yassin. Like I didn't really get a chance to see her. Nim'a Duran, I had a conversation with her, but she ended up leaving during the time that I was there. And then Farah Captain, I wanted to see her in London, but she came to me in Toronto, so it was even better.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot. It was really great. But then now in Toronto we're on lockdown, and we were supposed to have a show for Nim'an Hala, and now we're on lockdown. And
I know, God bless you guys. I'm like, you guys have been on lockdown for forever. I saw that his show was canceled, and I was like, but I mean, Omicron really, like, even things are starting to change in the States. Like, we're not going to go back on lockdown, but it's getting really bad in a lot of places. But in the new year, inshallah, and in the future, what are your hopes for Somali music coming out of Toronto, Somali music, like the work that you even want to do for yourself?
Well, for Toronto, I really do hope we have a party, something for people to look forward to, you know? It's like something we have to change our reputation, I guess you can say, in terms of like the oros, not the oros, the oros happens in Toronto, it's very common. But in terms of like riwayats, because everywhere around the world, people are having parties and riwayats and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
We don't. It's like we can't catch a break. So that's one thing.
In what way? Like, because of what? Because y'all used to be the party central, like capital, like 15, 20 years ago. So what has changed in Toronto?
I think Toronto in general has changed. Like Toronto at one point had Somali music. We had the music before anybody. We had it.
Absolutely.
You know, like we had it, but
Nakruma La Haristo Delays, like
Zainab Labadallah, like we had it for a while. But I just think it's the way things have gone. I just think the fact that Toronto has been dead the last couple of years, it's time to like bring it back to life somehow, some way. And we will. It will take some time. But in terms of my goal for Somali music, I hope it becomes more globalized. Like I hope I hear more songs like Isi Nafta, and that, you know, slowly but surely more Ajnabis are going to start listening to this, and then more younger generations are going to get involved in Somali music and start listening to their culture.
Yeah. And I think like even seeing people kind of like that they might have more in common with, like even like around age and like background and stuff like that, like that is also makes it a little bit more accessible, where it's not like something that's like, oh, that's just our parents' generation. Like then that'll also kind of, you know, give way to like, you know, a new generation kind of like forms of identifying with it and appreciating it, but also having access to it. Like there's some Instagram pages that have Somali music and people are like, oh my God, I remember this song. Oh my God. Like, you know, people are connecting to that because the song might be explained in English, or, you know, like the background might be explained in English, or it's also in a way that's accessible. They don't have to go dig for it on YouTube, but it's right there on Instagram.
No, I know, for sure. Definitely. We will have to like, in a way, try to more generalize Somali music in a way, somehow. There's other people like now finally listening to it. I find anyways.
I think it's a lot. I mean, like from my perspective, compared to when we were growing up, as like in our like late teens and 20s, I think Somali music definitely has become a lot more normalized, like amongst young people, like especially like with Soldan Serad, but also people are like, okay, I need to at least know what the hot songs are. Like, you know, like my little cousins always ask me like, oh, just what songs are like songs I should know. And we didn't really care about knowing when we were like, I mean, like when I was growing up, like the people that I was around, it was kind of whatever. You just had to know at least Hassan al-Samatar and Moghal and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I remember when I was younger, I knew a lot more Hassan al-Samatar. I knew a lot more Abdul Qadir Juba. I knew Moghal. My parents used to listen to this, right? Yeah. My mom would say to me, if I hear the song, I'll remember, you know?
Yeah.
All these old school songs now, they're becoming more, you know, like generalized, like they're becoming more clear. There's a lot of things that's changed in technology. So it's becoming more like, you know, generalized, cleaner, understandable.
Yeah, understandable, especially.
So many singers that are listening, like so many new singers that are coming in. So they'll just pick an old school song, they'll sing it, and then you hear their voices from there.
But and you can actually hear the words. Like the other ones, like it might not have been exactly clear what they were saying, like you said. But I think that also, I sometimes like I'm kind of sick of all of like hasusti, like qafkas, or like in some ways, like I really don't like it's oversaturated. Like I think the amount of Somali artists that are singing older songs versus them putting out new songs, like the ratio is very unbalanced, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But in some ways, it's also then that makes it more accessible. Like if I see like Khalid Ko did this song with Sadia Simon, I think her name is, and
aren't you?
Huh?
You're a big fan of Khalid Ko, aren't you?
Yeah. I really like Khalid Ko. I watch anything Khalid Ko does. But it was like, it's called Gudadle, and it was like Hibanura with Ahmed Moge and Ilar Hista, and then and somebody else. It was two women. Maybe it might have been Moghal or Khadra Dahir or something. And I was like, oh, but because he did it, I was they did like, you know, they were in Nairobi and stuff. I was like, oh, and then I went to go look for the original, but like, so in some ways I think I'm like contradicting myself here, but in some ways, like hearing the cleaner and nicer song like works. But then for some like the Karami songs with like the long like 10-minute root introduction and stuff, I'd rather listen to that, like, because I feel like it sounds good like that. But how does that affect like the type of music that you're able to play?
In terms, I always look for the newer the versions of it now. I don't even look for like like the older ones now. I usually just look for the newest ones. I know the song that I'm listening to based on the words, right?
Yeah.
You know.
All right, DJ Amal, it was really nice talking to you. So if people want to kind of like follow you, kind of see what you're doing, get a hold of you, where should people look out for you at?
They can look for my Instagram. All my details are there, my email, Instagram. And they can also see me on TikTok. I'm a big TikTok follower.
Okay.
I do TikTok, so they can find me on TikTok as well.
All right, what's your TikTok handle and your Instagram?
The TikTok is DJ_Amal X, as well as the Instagram. They're both the same. Also, guys, I want to wish you guys a happy new year. And we'll see what 2022 has for us to bring.
We'll definitely follow to see where 2022 takes all of us and DJ Amal. Hopefully it's a city near you.
Definitely. Can't wait. For bookings, please refer to my email.
All right. Well, it's really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for hopping on ISIRKA.
I loved it. Absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
All right. You're so welcome.
Ku kala naqrono meel wana